famine, and other disasters, natural and man-made. As a correspondent and anchor for CNN, I spent much of 2005 reporting from the front lines in Sri Lanka and New Orleans, Africa, and Iraq. This recording is about what I saw and experienced, and how it crystallized much of what I'd previously learned and lived through in conflicts in countries long since forgotten. For years, I tried to compartmentalize my life, distance myself from the world I was reporting on. This year, however, I realized that that is not possible. In the midst of tragedy, the memories of moments, forgotten feelings, began to feed off one another. I came to see how woven together these disparate fragments really are. Past and present, personal and professional, they shift back and forth again and again. Everyone is connected by the same strands of DNA. I've been a journalist for 15 years now, and have reported on some of the worst situations on Earth. Somalia, Rwanda, Bosnia, Iraq. I've seen more dead bodies than I can count, more horror and hatred than I can remember, yet I'm still surprised by what I discover in the far reaches of our planet, the truths revealed in the dwindling light of day when everything else has been stripped away, exposed, raw as a gutted shark on a fisherman's pier. The farther you go, however, the harder it is to return. The world has many edges, and it's very easy to fall off. The week after my father died, I saw one of those old Jacques Cousteau documentaries. It was about sharks. I learned that they have to keep moving in order to live. It's the only way they can breathe. Forward motion, constantly forcing water through their gills. I wanted to live on the Calypso, be part of Cousteau's red-capped crew. I imagined myself swimming slowly alongside a great white, my hand resting lightly on its cold silver steel skin. I used to dream of its sleek torpedo body silently swaying through pitch-black seas, never resting, always in motion. Some nights I still do. Hurtling across oceans from one conflict to the next, one disaster to another, I sometimes believe it's motion that keeps me alive as well. I hit the ground running, truck gassed up, camera rolling, locked and loaded, ready to rock, as a soldier in Iraq once said to me. There's nothing like that feeling. Your truck screeches to a halt, you leap out, the camera resting on the space between your shoulder and neck. You run toward what everyone else is running from, believing your camera will somehow protect you, not really caring if it doesn't. All you want to do is get it, feel it, be in it. The images frame themselves sometimes. The action flows right through you. Keep moving, keep cool, stay alive, force air through your lungs, oxygen into your blood. Keep moving, keep cool, stay alive. I didn't always feel this way. When I started reporting, I was 24 and didn't mind waiting for weeks in dingy African hotels. I was on my own with just a home video camera and a fake press pass. I wanted to be a war correspondent, but couldn't get a job. In Nairobi, I practically moved into the Ambassador Hotel. It was across the street from the Hilton, but a world away. During the day, the second-floor lounge filled with evangelical Christians singing, "Jesus, God is very, very wonderful," while outside on the street, a man with shiny steel hooks for hands and pale plastic prostheses for arms waved wildly in the air, screaming passages from the Old Testament. At night, the bar opened and sweating waiters in red jackets served tall glasses of Tusker beer, weaving between black businessmen and prostitutes in shiny emerald dresses. I was alone and lost, clinging to a routine. Lunch at noon, dinner at 6. Weeks passed, and I just waited. By the time I was 25, it had all changed. I had a job, a salary. I was being paid to go to wars. It had taken me nearly a year of shooting stories and of hard travel, but I was finally a foreign correspondent. The more I saw, however, the more I needed to see. I tried to settle down back home in Los Angeles, but I missed that feeling, that rush. I went to see a doctor about it. He told me I should slow down for a while, take a break. I just nodded and left, booked a flight out that day. It didn't seem possible to stop. Working overseas, traversing front lines, I felt the air hum. Neutrons and protons collided about. I could feel them move through me. No barrier between life and death, just one small step, one foot in front of the other. I wasn't one of those adrenaline cowboys I'd run into in some third-world cul-de-sac. I wasn't looking to get shot at, wasn't looking to take chances. I just didn't let risks get in the way. There was no place I wouldn't go. Coming home meant coming down. It was easier to stay up. I'd return home to piles of bills and an empty refrigerator. Buying groceries, I'd get lost. Too many aisles, too many choices. cool mist blowing over fresh fruit, paper or plastic, cash back in return. I wanted emotion, but couldn't find it here, so I settled for motion. Out at night, weaving through traffic, looking for trouble, I'd lose myself in crowds. Gaggles of girls with fruit-colored drinks talked about face products and film production. I'd see their lips move, look at their snapshot smiles and highlighted hair. I didn't know what to say. I'd look down at my boots and see bloodstains. The more I was away, the worse it got. I'd come back and couldn't speak the same language. Out there, the pain was palpable. You breathed it in the air. Back here, no one talked about life and death. No one seemed to understand. I'd go to movies, see friends, but after a couple days I'd catch myself reading plane schedules, looking for something, some place to go. A bomb in Afghanistan, a flood in Haiti. I'd become a predator, endlessly gliding in saltwater seas, searching for the scent of blood. I recently saw a documentary about sharks on the Discovery Channel. Scientists had found a species of shark, a deep water one, that didn't have to keep moving to stay alive. It can breathe lying still. It can rest. I find that hard to believe. Chapter 1. Tsunami. Washed away. Small waves, one after the other, lap the shore. 2 Sri Lankan villagers walk along the water's edge, searching for bodies washed up by the tide. They come every morning, leave without answers. Some days they find nothing. Today there's a torn shoe and a piece of broken fence. I'm standing in a pile of rubble. Beneath me, the ground seems to move, twisting and turning in on itself. It takes a moment for my eyes to adjust. The ground isn't moving at all. It's maggots, thousands of them, writhing, squirming. They feast on some unseen flesh. Nearby, a dog with low-hanging teats and a face smeared with blood scavenges for scraps. She steps carefully among scattered bricks, tourist snapshots, china plates, the flotsam and jetsam of life before the wave. It took centuries for the pressure to build, subtle shifts grinding force. Long ago, 1,000 miles east of Sri Lanka, more than 15 miles below the surface of the Indian Ocean, 2 gigantic shelves of rock, tectonic plates, pressed against each other. The rim of what scientists call the India Plate began to push underneath the Burma Plate. Something had to give. At nearly 1 minute before 8 a.m., the morning after Christmas 2004, the force of the compression explodes along a section of rock some 100 miles off the west coast of Sumatra. A fault line more than 700 miles long violently rips open, and a shelf of rock and sediment thrusts upward 50 feet, unleashing an explosion of energy so powerful it alters the rotation of the Earth. It's one of the strongest earthquakes in recorded history. Shock waves pulse in all directions, displacing millions of tons of water, creating giant undersea waves, a tsunami. A ship on the surface of the sea would barely have noticed, detecting perhaps some slight swells no more than 2 feet high. But underneath, out of sight, churning walls of water extend from the ocean's bottom to the surface, pushing outward. The water moves fast, 500 miles per hour, the speed of a commercial jetliner. It takes 8 minutes after the earthquake begins for the sonic signals to reach the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center in Hawaii. The thin needle of a seismograph suddenly springs to life, rapidly scribbling side to side, signaling an alarm. It's already too late. 8 minutes later, at approximately 8:15 a.m. in Banda Aceh, Sumatra, the first of several massive walls of water explodes onto shore. In the next 2 hours, tsunami waves strike 10 other countries. More than 200,000 people will die. In New York, 2005 begins in a blizzard, a hurricane of confetti and light. At the stroke of midnight, I'm standing on a platform in the center of Times Square. I'm about 60 feet off the ground, and below, on the streets all around me, are people, hundreds of thousands of revelers packed shoulder to shoulder behind barricades set up by police. The crowd is cheering. I see their mouths are open, their hands waving in the air, but I can't hear them. Both my ears are plugged with wireless headphones, connecting me to a control room several blocks away. I hear only the hiss of the satellite transmission and a thin pulse of blood throbbing in my ears. It's a strange way to start 2005. We've been covering the tsunami around the clock this week, and each day brings new details, new horrors. There's been talk of canceling the New Year's celebrations, but in the end it's decided that the show will go on. I've always hated New Year's Eve. When I was 10, I liked